Hi, I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. Nothing says community more than a father-son relationship. It is the job of the parent to bring up the child and have him ready to make an impact on society. And I want to thank my dad for coming on to the show.
It's my pleasure.
And you've had the impact on a lot of people's lives. 10 kids, now you've got 25 grandkids.
Right.
And now you're on to 3 great-grandchildren.
Definitely.
And where were you born? Where are you from?
I'm from the Bronx. I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
And I was there until I was 19 years old.
Okay.
And my father had restaurants all over the place.
Uh-huh.
So I followed him all over.
Yeah.
And then in 1947, we came up into Verplank.
Yeah.
Bought the restaurant there. And at the beginning, it was kind of rough because nobody knew us, and it was strange for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we catered to a lot of young people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we got off the ground.
Yeah.
And now we have their 4th generation coming in, so it's.
Well, now you'll be there 66 years in August.
It was 66 in August.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, August 15th. And, well, like I said, it was a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
but it was well worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, just raising those 10 kids was a joy
Yeah.
for both my wife and I,
Yeah.
your mother.
And now, how long are you guys married?
60 years.
60 years.
We were married 60 years, May 2nd.
Uh-huh.
And love every minute of it.
Now, how did you guys meet?
In the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my wife came up with your mother,
Mm-hmm.
came up with friends of mine,
Yeah.
and we sat and talked, and so then I waited a week or two and called her up. I had gotten her phone number,
Yeah.
called her up and asked her if she wanted to go out,
Yeah.
and that's what happened.
Yeah. And then what year did you
we
get
went out-
married?
We went out 5 years before we got married.
Okay.
2 of that was service time.
Oh, yeah. Now, you went into the service. We actually have a picture of you
Yeah,
in the service. And where were you stationed?
in Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
in the Springs
Right.
camp. I'm trying to think of the name of
Yeah.
it now. It's since been made a fort,
Mm-hmm.
and I was there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I went then from a year from when I was in. I went to school in cook school
Okay.
in Atterbury, Indiana.
Really?
So I went there, came back, and then I had made staff sergeant
Okay.
and ranked from private to staff sergeant.
Wow, that's
and,
pretty good.
I had my own mess hall.
Mm-hmm.
I was the head chef in the mess hall,
Okay.
and I was there for, like I said, almost 2 years, and it was a pleasure being there.
I bet. Well, speaking of cooking, I'm going to cook a little broccoli rabe and sausage. And everybody has their own version of broccoli rabe. So this is a version. I'm going to start off with some celery. It's, well, broccoli rabe doesn't really cook down as much as, say, like escarole.
No,
Escarole, that pretty much
it's a lot of water in it.
Yeah, it cooks
Yeah.
down. You'll have a big head of escarole, but then, and spinach is probably,
It's same as the escarole.
so, and I also
Cooks
like,
down, and cooks down to nothing actually.
Exactly.
Where broccoli rabe stays.
it stays, you don't lose much of it.
Yeah,
I
you
also
don't
like,
lose much of it.
I also like to add some onions. Now, cooking at home, you actually taught my mother how to cook, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, she used to cook for all you boys
Yeah.
before you came down. As soon as you got out of school, as you got to the age, you had to come down to the restaurant. And she made sure you all ate before you came down.
That's right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cook the sausage. What I like to do is crumble the sausage.
Good.
There's, like I said, there's 100 ways to do it. You can cook the sausage and then slice it. I'm going to use the gloves.
Right.
And I'll just break up the sausage. Well, this is a quick opportunity to thank my crew. I'd like to thank Jim and Helen and Kaz. And I got Joe back there. Joe and Helen actually just got back from Florida.
Oh, good.
They went down to visit some people, and we got them up to help us out.
Right.
So I like the onions and the celery in first. That'll
Good.
start. Okay, we're going to crumble the spinach. Spinach. Some sausage.
Right.
Now, when you started in the restaurant, that's 66 years ago, you
Right.
didn't have pizza when you first started open.
No, no. But what happened was, like I said, we couldn't get off the ground as a restaurant. So we had young crowds come in, and then we had to do something, so we started with pizza.
Okay.
And to this day, that's our big item, is pizza.
Sure.
And but like I said, and then we had them coming in, all the young crowds from either Pisco or all the way from Ossining on up to Pisco, and that's how we started, doing our restaurant.
Sure.
And it was a pleasure serving these people, and like I said, and I'd spend hours in the kitchen getting stuff ready, and then people started coming in from, with their families and all, and that's how we started the restaurant. And to this day, those people, the ones, thank God, the ones that are still living, they still come in, and like I said, we have fourth generation coming in, and which makes you feel good.
Definitely. Okay, I like to put the stems in first to get those cooking.
Right.
Just because they take a little longer to cook, so we'll get
Right.
those in there.
Right.
We'll give it a little. Now, your father taught you how to cook.
Oh yes, my father had restaurants all over the Bronx, and I'd follow him from when I was 8 years old. I'd be with him, and he had different partners, and it never worked.
Right.
Partners are kind of rough.
Yeah.
So what he did in 1942, he opened his own restaurant in the Bronx on 183rd Street, and from there we were there until 1947, early part of 1947. Then he sold it, and that's when we bought. That's when he bought the place in Verplank,
Right.
and that's where it's been ever since.
And how did you find Verplank from the Bronx?
Yeah, well, we had the accountant. Our accountant was the accountant of this gentleman that owned this place, but ran another place down in the Bronx. And he was looking to sell this, so my father was looking to buy, so they got together. And like I said, I was 18. And
Yeah.
it was kind of rough going from the Bronx up to Verplank,
Yeah,
because
was it?
Verplank was,
Well, they
was the
had-
Hicks as far as we were
Oh,
concerned
sure.
then. Yeah, but it was, and then, like I said,
Slowly but surely, you built a business.
yes, slowly, surely,
Yeah.
yeah, until we got what we have today, which is, and like I said, they're coming in fourth generation,
Yeah.
and it's a pleasure serving these people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think was the best time? I mean, right now the economy
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
I wouldn't recommend opening a
No,
restaurant now.
no. It's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's kind of tough for us trying to keep it going
Yeah.
because a lot of people are out of work
Yeah.
and they aren't going out as much.
No, they can't.
Yes, they're more or less staying home, and and you practically have to drag them in to
Yeah.
get them.
Right.
But thank God we still have our old favorites that
Exactly.
make sure that they still come back.
Sure.
And that's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we got this going. I'm going to add a little salt. Okay. A little pepper. All right. Now's a good time to put the garlic in. I don't like to put the garlic in too soon because it'll
Right.
burn.
Right.
So this way it'll just get translucent. Okay, so we'll throw garlic in there.
Beautiful.
All right. Give it a little toss. You can see the sausage is cooking now.
Yeah.
So what was it like having 10 kids in the house?
Well, to tell you the truth, they paired up.
Okay.
So actually, people used to come to the house and said they couldn't believe that we had 10 kids in the house because they were all doing something, you
Yeah.
know. And like I said, they were paired off.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
before
I could remember we never really needed any playmates because we always had
no,
someone
because
to play with.
you always had a
Yeah. Someone was always there. So
Yeah, and then actually what we had to do was we disciplined the first three,
yeah,
and from there we let them take over because they knew they weren't going to let the younger ones get away with,
too much. Right.
well, nothing that they couldn't get away with.
Exactly.
So it was easy after that.
Yeah.
We let them do it.
I can remember it was a very disciplined upbringing,
It
but
was.
that's how you have to be. I mean,
That's right.
I don't want to talk about people. I prefer just to talk about, us
Yes.
and how we did things. Everybody has their own way.
Right.
There's books out there on how to raise kids. It is a lot of how you were raised. There's a lot of things that are a standard that
Right.
should be taught.
Right.
Of course, hygiene and everything like that.
Right.
So,
But
I
we
think
had.
I think there's some.
It was like I said, we had to discipline the first three, and
Right.
then from there on, they took over and made sure that
Everybody was.
the younger ones weren't going to get away with anything.
Yeah.
And thank God they were all healthy, and
Exactly.
we had no problems.
All right, I'm going to add a little spin to this. I'm going to put some tomatoes in. It adds color and flavor. So that'll. So the first marriage was your daughter. She's the second oldest, Vicky.
Yes, Vicky, and she's the only one. We have 9 sons,
Yeah.
and Vicky.
Yeah.
And she was the one who helped raise them,
Sure.
and they still all have respect for her for that.
Yes.
She's still there for them, and she's there for all the grandkids.
Yeah.
They all look up to Aunt Vicky,
Definitely.
which is a
Well,
pleasure.
she had 4 boys of her own.
She has 4 boys of her own.
And
2 are lawyers.
Yeah.
One works for a big outfit down the city, and one is in Australia right now, who is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And the other one, the younger one, he works in an outfit
Mm-hmm.
that has. It's like a big insurance outfit.
Right.
That's who he works for,
Yeah.
and they're all doing fine.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And now Charlie, he had 4 boys, and they were trying to have a girl also.
Right. They
And
finally got
they
Mary
finally
Grace.
got little Mary Grace, and
Yeah, and they're doing.
Yeah.
And he's an FBI agent, Charlie. He lives in Virginia, works in Washington,
yeah,
and he tries to get up as much as he can.
sure.
And he married this girl he went out with when they were in high school. From when they were in high school, they got, they
Yes.
went out together. And then he married her, and she came from Cold Spring. Her mother and father lived in Cold Spring.
Exactly.
And like I said, so that's how they met in school, and that's how they got married.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now's a good time to put the broccoli rabe in. So we'll get that in there. Now this will cook down a little, not as much as, like I said, escarole or, well, spinach cooks down the most.
Yeah.
So, and what I'm going to do is add a little chicken stock.
Good.
Okay. And we'll just let that simmer. Let me just toss it a little. Good. That'll start to go.
That takes a few minutes
That'll
to cook
take a few
down.
minutes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay, good. So what do you think the busiest time was? In the 60s, the 70s? Well, you spanned the
Well, I'm 84 now.
Yeah.
And I thank God for it. And and it's, I put that to the fact that it was hard work
Yes.
that kept you going.
Yeah.
And now all the boys and my daughter, naturally, Becky, they all make sure that I'm
Doing good.
doing well.
Yeah.
They do everything to take care of it. Both my wife and I, your mother and I, yes. And everybody cares,
Yeah.
which makes it for a good time.
Yeah.
Now the restaurant right now, there's three down operating the restaurant, two actually, and you and your brother Joe.
Yes.
And then John comes in weekends, and between yous, the place is going well.
Yes. Well as it could. It's not easy. I mean,
It's not easy, no.
I mean, you
No,
talk to
it's-
anybody,
no.
not just the restaurant
It's
business.
the toughest business going.
Yeah.
I always said there was one just a little worse than restaurant business, and that's a delicatessen,
Right.
because they got to make sure everything is right there in the showcases.
Yes.
And
And they start 6
Yeah.
o'clock earlier than 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes. All right, so I'm going to turn this a little bit. I think I got the right size pan.
yeah, oh no, that'll cook down.
Yep. Let's give it a little turn. Okay. Now, what's your favorite meal?
My favorite
Meal.
meal?
Yep.
Well, veal parmesan, that was always our biggest seller in the
In the restaurant.
in the restaurant. Oh yeah, naturally, lasagna's being made, and Margiotta, which you make,
Yep.
and people go for all that.
Oh, sure.
But my favorite was, like I said, the veal parmesan. That was our biggest. It still is our biggest seller.
Yeah.
And naturally, the pastas, they go along. They go along.
Yeah.
And but
Now we got a picture of you in Las Vegas,
yeah,
and
I was crossing the. We were out there with a few other. I can't remember. We went out there a few times.
yeah,
And with groups, you know, and but it was always a good time.
Yeah.
It was always a good getaway.
Well, you guys always had a nice crew that you hung out with.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. We were a good four couples, and we were with each other for years,
Sure.
and we went all over.
Yep.
We used to go up to the mountains in upstate New York, stay the weekends, and that was always a good trip.
Sure.
And we always hung out together, and we'd play cards and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Always. So that was always a good time.
Now, how important was it to have good friends, do you think?
Well, I always said you only need actually one very, very good friend.
Yes.
The rest, like I said, you do need a few couples,
Sure.
but you always needed that one good friend.
Definitely.
And he worked for me at, and he was like a brother.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's somebody that you can confide in. A best friend is somebody that you can be yourself, talk
Right.
about anything.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. And whatever we said to each other stayed right
Right.
with us.
No, you never heard it from anybody
left,
else,
It
yeah.
never left, between us.
Sure.
And that's, like I said, that was the way of
Yeah.
having good friends.
Sure. Well, that's the most important thing. Is
That's
that,
right. That's right.
That they would
That's
kept
right.
confidence.
Yeah. And like I said, right now the economy's a little rough.
Yeah.
But hey,
We'll come around.
I always said it's the seventh year.
Yeah.
Every 7th year
Yeah.
seems to you
We'll
have
get
a
the
dull.
Yeah.
And this is we're going to our 7th year right now. But we'll come out of it like everything else.
Now, the thing I like to highlight on the show is volunteering. And, I think people shouldn't complain about what's going on. If there's something that you think is wrong with society or the community, do something about it. Now, what's some of the volunteer work you did? I know you were in the fire department.
I was in the fire department. I'm in the American Legion.
Yes.
And we try to do as much as we can. But like I said, the fire department, and then I belong to the Mount Carmel Society.
Yep.
I've been in that for over 60 years. And you try to get things done through them,
Exactly.
and keep it going,
Yeah.
which we do.
Yeah. And I mean, you probably, it's countless amount of donations that you've given over the years.
Oh my God!
Could you imagine if you had that money?
Everybody looks forward to you
Yeah.
for giving, between the towns, and
Yeah.
hey, you have to do it.
You have to. I
You
know.
have to do it. That's what keeps it going,
Sure.
right?
These are your customers, and they come back and they contribute.
They
And,
contribute toward it.
Sure.
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes you think you have to have a fundraiser to give to all the fundraisers, but
Yeah.
and
Well,
I know you've gone to a countless amount of golf outings too, and
Oh,
given
yeah.
to the golf outings.
oh yeah, because there was they'd come in and have dinner,
Sure.
and would you contribute toward? Of course.
Yes, definitely.
Why not?
Yep.
If you're going to come in and support me, I have to
Yeah.
support you too.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a good time.
My father actually introduced me to the game of golf, and
Yes.
it was a little rough in the beginning. It's not an easy game.
No.
Look, the
no.
pros make it look easy.
Yeah, but it's not. You even see them missing a
Yeah.
three-footer.
Well, look at Tiger Woods. I mean, now
Right.
he was how many over par? But that was a tough course they played this
right,
past week.
right.
So, but I did get I got hooked on the game. I love the game, and we do have a few more pictures. We've got a picture of your great-grandchild.
Yes.
That's little Lucas, and that's
Oh, yes.
with his mother Rosie,
Right.
and that's Charlie's. No, that's Michael's.
Michael's
Grandson.
Michael's grandson, Lucas. Yes.
And Gina just had a baby.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
Carmine.
Luke, his name is Carmine.
Yeah. No, we don't have any Carmines in our family,
No,
do we?
no, he's the only Carmine.
So that'll start a new tradition, I guess.
She wanted to start something new,
Yeah.
so I guess,
But,
and then they're doing well,
oh, yeah,
which is good.
definitely.
And then my other grandson, he has a boy,
Yep, Michael.
Michael,
So,
and
well, we don't have to worry about the Margiotta name.
oh no,
ending, right?
that'll go on because we had a lot of boys.
Yeah,
And the boys dominate the girls
Yeah.
and the grandchildren also.
yeah.
So the name will go on,
For sure.
which is good.
Now, you were happy to have all boys, or did you want to have another girl, or?
Oh no, we were, as long as they were healthy. I
Yeah.
never gave a thought to what they were gonna be.
Right.
as long as they were healthy, that's all we cared for.
Definitely.
And thank God they were all healthy.
Yeah, that worked out
And,
well. Okay.
and like I said, they brought us the 25 grandchildren, which is doing fine.
Now we got a picture of Gerard and his son Matthew. Matthew's doing very
Yes,
well.
yes.
Gerard
yes.
had 2 kids, Gabrielle.
Gabrielle and Matthew.
And Matthew.
And Gabrielle is...
She's just graduating down in Florida, right?
Yes, she's down in Florida. She graduated. She's a therapist.
Excellent.
Mental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Beautiful.
And she's still down there finishing up.
Uh-huh.
And
How do you keep track of all the grandkids?
well, it's like everything else. You better know their birthdays.
Yeah, well, that's a big one.
You can't forget their birthdays.
No.
You could forget their names, but you can't forget their birthdays.
Right?
Because they wait.
Yeah.
They wait to hear from you.
Of course. All right, so I mixed in the pasta. I had already cooked the pasta. And this is pretty much done. I'm just going to put it on the plate for a little demonstration. Hopefully the crew will all get a little taste. We just have,
Looks good.
that came out nice, right? I like the tomatoes. I like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and cooking the fresh tomato means a lot.
It does. It adds a nice flavor and a
Yes.
color.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we just have a couple of minutes. Well, I would have to say your best friend now is your wife.
Oh, always was.
Yeah.
Always was. She was always my best friend. You always had friends, but
Yeah,
like I said, you got to have one good friend,
definitely.
and that's your mother, my wife.
Yeah. And, well, for you guys to be married that many years, you know, again, I don't like to talk about other people, but, you know, it's the biggest commitment of your life.
Oh, it's your whole life.
And, you know, it's a lot of work.
Your children have to be your whole life.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, it's not.
Well, I could say that you guys sacrificed everything for your children.
Well, we had to.
And your children
If you
came
want to
first.
raise your children, you have to. There's a lot of sacrifices to making them grow up.
Yes. And I know that you never, you know, cared about yourself. It was always the kids first.
Oh,
And,
definitely.
I thought that was important.
Definitely.
Okay.
The kids always had to come first.
I'm just going to put a little parsley on top. Okay, we'll get this out of the way. And we'll, you know what? We'll top it off with some Parmigiano cheese.
Oh, delicious.
And that's our broccoli
Yes.
rabe with penne pasta.
Right.
Okay, that pretty much wraps it up.
Well, sure. And,
And,
it looks terrific.
Thanks.
And it was a pleasure being on
Yeah,
here.
I've been meaning to have you back on.
I know.
I know you didn't feel good for a while, so
Right, but I'm coming along.
yeah.
now.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And
But like I said, I got to stay healthy for all
That's
you
right.
guys.
well, now that the weather's getting better, we can get out.
We
and-
could get out,
Yeah.
right. And I'd like to get out even if I play just a couple of holes of golf,
Yeah,
which I
I'm gonna-
haven't done
yeah,
in
I'm
a
gonna-
while.
Exactly. So I'll bring you.
I'd
out.
like to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the Community Show. Thanks for watching. And like I said, if you can get involved in the community, that would be a big help for everybody. Thanks for watching. Okay, so we'll just talk. Don't-